If you've been anxious for a vacation where you can just kick back with a bottle of whiskey on a lonely beach and watch some boat explode off on the horizon, Just Cause 3 can't really help you get there, but you can watch someone else live that reality over and over again. And again, every time you start the game, you get to watch this unskippable and unbearably long splash screen. The first time I saw it, I laughed and I thought to myself, wow, what an original and funny way to show off the company logos before the game. And every time I watched it thereafter, it just made me more and more frustrated. And once the wait for this super long intro is finally over, I had to wait more, while the game took an unnaturally long time to log into its servers. And that only leads to the question of, why do you have to log into servers if you aren't playing a multiplayer portion of a game? And then, after that wait is over, you have to wait even more for the game to go through its primary load sequence. On my PC, after having it installed on an SSD, that entire sequence takes 1 minute, 40 seconds. Odd for me to start off my review with a complaint about wait times, right? Well, first impressions are often the strongest, and this is Just Cause 3's first impression. Once you're finally in the game, Just Cause 3 is a lot like Just Cause 2. And that's not a terrible thing. You play as Rico Rodriguez and zip and fly around a chain of islands using your infinite parachute, a retractable tether strapped to your wrist, a wingsuit, and a whole lot of guns. It's your job to basically blow up anything red. It's an open world, so how you do it is up to you. And there is a really, really weak story about a rebellion being partially led by your childhood buddy Mario, which, of course, they couldn't hold back from an "It's me, Mario" joke within the first 10 minutes.
Rico! Is that you?
See, it's me! Mario!
That's not me knocking the story either. What I'm trying to say is, Just Cause 3 is mindless. Go here however you want. Destroy, go there, destroy. The word destroy appears on screen pretty often as though you forgot. Oh, that's what I do in this game. But I think sometimes that's all you need for a video game, right? Just mindless activities. Flying, jumping, blowing stuff up, and in the meantime, make it as pretty as possible. I don't always need the brooding backstory of some unidentifiable anti-hero. Aside from the fragile story, the open-world gameplay boils down to eliminating key infrastructure from a malevolent dictatorship called DRM. Hardy har har.
I love the DRM, and I love Medici. Viva Medici!
When you free cities or destroy military bases, you add more vehicles and weapons to your potential library of instantly available items. It's an interesting idea, but I never really used the system of calling in for my free gear much. Most of my 27 hours with the game, I just kept going and played with whatever I could find, because 1, it's not like grenades or rockets are hard to come by here, and 2, why drive any car or fly most planes or jets when I can essentially fly? Well, maybe not fly, but glide for a really long time. You can cover infinite distance by simply opening your parachute and then your wingsuit and repeat the process. And thanks to the game's extremely liberal physics system, you can grapple the ground and pull yourself toward it while using your wingsuit to cause tension and increased thrust and lift. It's insanity, but fun insanity. You could do something similar in Just Cause 2 with the parachute, but with the wingsuit, you move much, much faster. When you get good at the system, you can even use it to climb mountains. You can withstand a ridiculous amount of punishment before dying. Essentially, Rico is a comic book superhero. It's a game of reverse Spider-Man and the adventures of exploding red buildings. You're not swinging down, you're swinging up. And instead of wearing a cool supersuit, the main character sports enough denim to make Chuck Norris jealous. That part's not a compliment. This new Rico looks like an idiot, and he sounds like everything sexually excites him. Not in a suave, over-amorous kind of James Bond way, but in a I have serious suspicions about my creepy neighbor kind of way.
Oh, change is good.
Aside from mindless destruction, there's also a few races and stunt challenges that, when completed skillfully, can unlock what the game calls mods. The mods change the way your weapons and equipment behaves. You can make your grenades explode the instant they touch something, or you can add functionality to your flight suit by giving them air brakes. You can increase the strength of your tethers. None of this is mandatory, but it does help make the game more customizable to your unique preferences. The game world is gigantic, absolutely enormous. There are islands that are heavily inhabited, and others without any life at all. While it's neat to climb to the highest point in this little world once, beyond that, much of this space feels like just dead space. It adds some nice aesthetics, but it mostly feels like wasted potential. There's some wildlife, a deer here or a fish there, but most of the world here feels barren. When you've wrapped up the game's main storyline, there is a nice option to continue playing and retain all of your unlocks, and reoppress the cities and bases alike through the map menu, so you can keep blowing stuff up. Forever. That will keep people playing for a while, but for me, once was enough. I might take a look at the game again if and when the cooperative feature comes into play. But, getting back to the DRM, the digital rights management, not the game's oppressive regime, it has more than once completely broken up the flow of my gameplay. I would be enjoying some bombastic activities like flying helicopters into radar dishes and jumping out at the last second, hooking people up to the bottoms of helicopters while flying upside down, dashing from one jet to another and throwing their pilots out hundreds of feet above ground just to have everything stopped by the game trying to log into the game's servers. There is an offline mode, but the game doesn't seem to like to stay in offline mode, and it's not even something you can set up in the options before fully launching the game. It is distracting and annoying, and it kept me out of playing the game for several minutes at a time. In a game where I was fighting a group called DRM, I was fighting the game's DRM in real life. I played the game on PC and saw okay performance, but I'm apparently lucky. The developers publicly came forward and addressed several known issues, and they're promising to be working on a patch for the near future, so keep your eyes open for a changelog. It's hard to recommend Just Cause 3 at full price. The weird DRM servers that are masked as competitive gameplay elements are a hindrance. I truly don't care who has bested me in any of the game's activities. But at the same time, it is a fun game. There's no denying that. I don't have to worry about names, or places, or series of events. I just fly, or drive, or shoot, or swim, or glide, and that feels good. But like many people, my first experience with Just Cause 2 was after catching it on sale through Steam. I probably paid no more than $10 for it, and it was worth every penny. Just Cause 3 doesn't feel like a big enough change to justify that remaining $50. On sale, yeah, I'd say go for it. Maybe I'm being cheap, but $60 seems a little much for this one.
This video is made possible through generous fan donations on Patreon.